Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we are diving into a skill that is just as important as your coding skills, and that's professional communication, especially for software engineering. So let's get right into it.
So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll talk about why this stuff really matters. Then we'll break down 4 core ideas you need to know. After that, we'll see how this looks in a real project. We'll also go over some common mistakes and how to fix them. And then we'll finish up with an activity so you can put it all into practice.
All right, let's kick things off with the big question. Why should you, as an engineer, care so much about communication? Because, and this is important, your job is about so much more than just writing code.
So let me ask you something. Just take a second to think about it. As a software engineer, what is your main job? Is it just to type out lines of code? Or is it something bigger than that?
You know, this quote from Google really gets it right. It changes how you should think about your role. You're not just a coder, you're a problem solver. And the code? Well, that's just the tool you use to build the solution. To find the best solutions, you have to communicate. And that's really the key. When you can explain things clearly, you understand problems better, and your team understands you better. This helps you catch issues really early, before they turn into huge headaches later on.
Okay, so that brings us to our next section. We're going to look at 4 core concepts. Think of these as the building blocks for all good professional communication. First up, clear structure. It's super simple. Any message you write, whether it's an email or documentation, should have a beginning, a middle, and an end. A quick intro to say what it's about, a body with all the details, and a short conclusion to sum it up. This 10-80-10 rule makes everything so much easier for people to read and understand.
Next is audience awareness. This one's huge. You've got to think about who you're talking to. The way you explain a technical problem to another developer is going to be totally different from how you explain it to your manager, right? Always ask yourself, what do they already know, and what information do they need from me? Our third concept is professional tone. This isn't about using big, complicated words. It's actually much simpler. Just be respectful and helpful. When you write with a good tone, people trust you. They want to work with you. So remember, your tone builds trust with your team. And finally, number 4, be concise. Or to put it simply, get straight to the point. Use simple words and short sentences. In engineering, everyone's busy. Nobody has time to figure out a long, confusing email. Clear and fast is always better.
So now we've got these 4 core concepts down. Let's talk about where you'll actually use them in your day-to-day work as a software engineer.
The short answer is everywhere. You're going to use these skills when you write emails, when you send a quick message on Slack, and this is a big one, when you write documentation on GitHub. Good communication just makes all of this teamwork go so much more smoothly.
Okay, let's move on to our 4th section. Here, we're going to look at some common mistakes people often make and, more importantly, the best practices to use instead. The classic what to do and what not to do. And what's really great here is just how simple the fixes are. For example, a common mistake is giving unclear explanations. The fix, just use an example. Another one is using too much jargon, those special technical words. The best practice? Just use short, simple sentences. And things like clear headings and good documentation make a world of difference. So here are a few golden rules to remember. First, be simple. Using small words is a good thing. Second, be brief. People appreciate it when you get to the point. Third, be consistent. It's okay to repeat your main point so people remember it. And last, always provide context. Always explain the why behind what you're doing. We have covered a lot of ground. So now, for our final section, it's time to put all of this into practice. This is where you get to try these skills out for yourself. So for our class activity, you're going to take a look at your own GitHub project. First, just read through the documentation you have right now. Then, try to use those 4 core concepts we talked about, clear structure, audience awareness, professional tone, and concise writing to make it better. The goal is just to make everything clearer and more professional. Now, after you've improved your own documentation, you're going to do a peer review. This is really helpful. You'll just swap your work with a partner, use the rubric we provide to give each other some helpful feedback. It's a fantastic way to learn from what other people are doing. And the final step is super straightforward. Just take the feedback you got from your partner and use it to make your documentation even better. This whole cycle of writing, getting feedback, and then revising, that's how you really improve. And that brings us to the end. So I'll leave you with one last question to think about. The next time you sit down to write an email or a Slack message, which one of those golden rules, like being simple or explaining the why, are you going to try to use? Thanks so much for joining me today.